Hello, everybody. I'm so grateful to be here today to go through our third yama, which is asteya. And we are doing this yama, niyama kind of work through the next couple weeks. And I'm grateful to share what I've been learning on this journey through the yamas and the niyamas. So the third yama is called asteya, and we're gonna go into great detail on what this third yama means, but I want to get us started. So today our first beautiful yin pose is going to be laying on the belly. So you're going to just find yourself on your mat, laying on your belly. Really allow the belly to sink into the earth. And you can take your hands, I ask that you try to do something that feels right to you. So if it feels right, take your hands to the top of your mat and rest your forehead on the earth. And if that doesn't feel right, you can always bend your elbows and rest your forehead on your hands. Or maybe you want to take a blanket or a pillow and rest your forehead on the blanket or the pillow. But if being on your belly is not something that you like, please go to a place that feels right in your body. Remember, we're trying to cause no harm here. So go to a place that feels good. And when you find that place, simply just close your eyes and just be here in the moment. Find your breath, taking deep inhales and deep exhales. And before we start, simply say to yourself, thank you. Thank you for showing up and practicing this yin practice. Today, our class is all about not taking from yourself or others. Fully release that statement. The yama for today is called asteya. The literal transition of asteya is not to steal. The meaning of stealing seems very obvious, but if you scratch below the surface of stealing, you can fully understand that there are multiple layers. And we'll go through those layers as class continues. There's a Native American saying that says, "We have not inherited the earth from our forefathers. We are only borrowing it from our children." We have not inherited the earth from our forefathers. We are only borrowing it from our children. So continue to lay here, and as you breathe, think of that statement. We did not inherit the earth from our forefathers. I guess we did inherit. Sorry. We did inherit, and we're borrowing. So this earth, this thing that we are living on today, is not ours and never will be. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, you're simply just going to shift yourself on your knees and float back into child's pose. So your heels are resting and your bottom is going to try to go back and touch the heels. Shift that tailbone back. And then go ahead and take the heart down, the forehead can go down. If you'd like a bolster or blanket in between your legs to rest in child's pose, please go ahead and do that. But as you are in your child's pose, I want you to think about somebody that cares deeply about you, that has supported you in your life. And let this be your intention today, is to offer this practice to someone that cares about you, that has supported you. Someone who has shown great generosity and love in the times of need, either from the present or the past. And as you rest in your little yogi cave, think of your heart and see your heart as you rest here. You're basically bowing down to your own heart. And fill that heart with love for that person that came to your mind. Send them well wishes and send them love. Asteya is the practice of non-stealing. When we shift our attention from ourselves to others, we're practicing this yama. In the physical sense, we steal from ourselves when we compare ourselves to others. When we are not appreciative of our body we have at the present, or when we push ourselves beyond our limits. We steal from our source of energy if we don't breathe properly, look at our body, or have gratitude for our life as it is. We take from ourselves when we lack compassion and understanding for ourselves in times of ill health, sorrow, or times of significant change. We steal from ourselves when we look outside of our wisdom, our innate wisdom, to get answers from others. We steal from ourselves when we are not present in this moment. When we think about the past and we think about the future, that is stealing from ourselves. Yin is a practice of giving back, of non-stealing. The practice asks us not to take more than we need, or move beyond our limits. It asks us to breathe not just in, but to fully exhale, to give us well, to give as well as to take. So just even breathing, you're inhaling and you're exhaling. It's non-stealing. It is a practice of self-care and allowing. We start with the fullness of what we have and move from there. Bless me. Most importantly, it is a practice of being present Being here for yourself in any capacity is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. With a generous heart, as you gently open up your shoulders and chest, we're going to move from child's pose to melting heart. So melting heart looks a little different. We're going to stay on our knees, and you're just going to extend your hands out to the front of your mat. And it sounds just like what it is, melting your heart down. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So you're going to melt your heart down, your hips stay up. And allow the heart to really melt down. The head can rest on the earth. And you'll feel a stretch underneath your arms. And I'll get our timer started. Now, if that doesn't feel good, you can just stay in child's pose. If you have really open arms, shoulders, you can place your hands on blocks and melt your heart down. The hips stay high. You can shift the hips back, but you really are trying to get this opening in the shoulder area. So non-stealing is, or this word asteya, the definition here is taking from yourself, taking from others, possession, time, ideas, or taking credit from work that others have completed. Taking more food or time or space than you personally need. Hoarding is a definition of stealing. Stealing from the earth's resources either through waste or overuse, or by taking more than you really need. Preventing someone else's accomplishments, something by your actions or your omissions. Failure to replenish, caretake, or restock back into the river of our lives. Be our relationships to ourselves, to Mother Earth, or to others. Feelings as though your life is lacking or there is not enough to go around. Asteya is not acting on impulses. Going into each moment wondering that you can get out of it rather than what you can put into it. And putting your needs before others in this life and future generations. Good. Slowly take a deep inhale in and exhale out. Another deep inhale in. And as you exhale out, maybe you'd like to come out of this pose and maybe come and just kind of move around. Maybe you want to do a few cat-cows. Maybe you want to get off of your knees. So do what's needed right now. We're going to go into the tabletop twist, which is known as needle to thread in yoga. Remember, again, our poses are called different things. So let's just rebound here for a moment. And just twist and turn and just be thankful for getting out of the stillness of yin. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna come into tabletop. So my knees are under my hips and my hands are under my shoulders. And I'm gonna take a deep inhale in. And as I take a deep inhale in, I lift my right hand up to the sky. I really open my heart up to the right. And as I exhale, this right hand swoops and needles through my underneath my left shoulder, and I drop my right shoulder down to the earth. My head can rest on the ground. My head can rest on a block. My head can rest on a blanket. But as you rest in this twist, really drive that right shoulder into the earth. The right hand, the palm can face up, it can face down. I prefer up. You can use this left hand to really twist into this pose. Now remember, we're not trying to go so deep that we can't hang out. Yin is about going to the place where I feel the edge. So I feel something happening here. And I rest in it. The more the heart twists up, the more you're going to feel the twist in the spine. But remember that in Yin, we hold the pose for 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes longer. So you want to be able to hold it. Now, if this left hand is like, okay, I'm getting tired, you can reach your left hand up towards the front of your mat. And maybe that will give you a little bit of resting, a little bit of stillness here. And just slowly breathe in this pose. Maybe you're feeling like, oh, this isn't really deep for me. I'm not at my edge. So if you are not at your edge, you can take the left hand up and take that left hand and reach back for your right hip. So it's like a bind. So my left hand goes behind, and I kind of take that left hand and put it in between my thigh and my belly. So my hand is resting there. Again, twisting the heart up. Remember to fully breathe here. Asteya asks us to breathe, not just fully on the exhale, but fully also on the inhale. So really, really feel yourself moving with this breath. Asteya, or non-stealing, calls us to live a life with integrity. So as you rest here in this pose, are you living a life with integrity? Good. Slowly take a deep inhale in. And exhale the air out. Another deep inhale in. And as you exhale, take that left hand to the earth and sweep your right hand up. Open that up and then rest it down. Again, rebound here. So maybe taking the left foot back, doing any movement that you feel you need to do right now. So maybe it's just like, I have to get off my knees. And if you have to get off your knees, maybe go into a plank. Maybe go into downward facing dog. Ask yourself, what can I do right now that will feel really good in my body? And then when you are ready to venture to the next side, you're gonna slowly come back into your tabletop. You're gonna take this left hand with an inhale. You're gonna lift it up, open up the heart to the left side, and then slowly drop that left shoulder, needle that left hand through the underneath the right shoulder and drop down to the left shoulder. The head can come to the earth. And again, maybe this side's different. So you might ask yourself, what do I need here? Do I need to leave my right hand on the earth or send my right hand up towards the front of my mat? Or maybe you take that right hand and you bind it. So you bring that right hand back and you try to find your left thigh and just kind of bind it. So rest it somewhere. Even if it's on the small of your back, it doesn't need to go all the way to the leg. I'll start our clock here. Maybe it feels good on this side to close your eyes and really be here in the moment. If we are living in fears and lies, our dissatisfactions with ourselves and our lives lead us to look outward, with a tendency to steal what is not rightfully ours. We steal from others, we steal from the earth, and we steal from the future, and we steal from ourselves. We steal from our own opportunity to grow ourselves into the person that has a right to have the life they want. So you may be asking yourself, I don't do that. Well, let's go into this a little deeper. Stealing from others. When we compare ourselves to others, we find ourselves lacking, which makes us feel somehow cheated. Or we find ourselves superior, which leaves us feeling somewhat arrogant. Our attention on others from a place of discontentment within ourselves can lead us a life of trying to control, manipulate, or manage others to boost our own ego. We may find ourselves trying to trump or one-up other stories or successes and experiences by coming behind them with our own more fabulous tale, in an attempt to make ourselves feel better. So stealing from other people's joy and trying to add on to the story to make it more beneficial for us. Or perhaps we steal from others by not paying attention to them or discounting them. In all of an instance where we steal, we have made the situation about us, not the other. Whatever words have or haven't come from our mouth, the intent has been to serve ourselves, not the other. When we feel unhappy with ourselves or in our lives, we have a tendency to drag people with us and make comments from a place of jealousy. When we generally care of others, that caring finds expressions in ways that feel supportive and tender to others. Slowly take a deep inhale in and exhale that air out. Take another deep inhale in. And as you exhale, that right hand comes down and you open the left hand up. Open, reach up, and take that left hand down. So let's head back into child's pose. Simply take your knees wide this time on your mat and shift your hips back. Returning the gifts back to the earth by just dropping the heart down. So here you can do a number of different things. I love this pose called nugget pose, where I take my hands and I bring them through my legs and I try to reach for my feet. And I allow my right cheek to rest on the earth. If that doesn't feel good, you can also take the bolster option again, where you lay on the bolster, on your blankets, on your pillow, and drop your right cheek to the earth. So we'll be here for a moment. I'll tell you when to switch your cheeks so you balance out. There was a yogi that said, be a forklift. You should always be lifting people up. So the question we ask ourselves in our encounterments with others is, does the other person feel uplifted and lighter because they have been with us? Or do they feel something has been taken from them? And so that is really the question. That is asteya, stealing from others. Are we lifting people up, making them feel lighter and supportive? And if the answer is no, then you need to work on this yama. Take a deep inhale in, and whatever cheek is on the mat, just simply rotate and put the other cheek. So maybe you need to rest your left cheek on the mat or a bolster. And next we'll dive into stealing from the earth. This one seems very obvious, right? But before we move on to this part of the yama, take a deep inhale in and feel the earth giving you its gifts, oxygen. And exhale the air out, let it go. Take another deep inhale in. And exhale the air out. And slowly come over to your seat. So shifting your body on to your bottom. Now we're gonna do, it's called half straddle. And sometimes this pose doesn't feel very good, but I'm gonna offer a couple different ways of doing it. You're gonna extend your right leg out, and then you're gonna take your left heel and bring it back to your left glute. Okay, so it's like I'm in a herky. If you're a cheerleader, you may know what that is. And then you can take a bunch of bolsters or pillows or blankets, and you put it right behind your back. So mine is right at the base of my spine. If you have a way of propping up this bolster, maybe you have a block, you can make a block tent. If not, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. But then try to see if you can lay back a little bit. So the prop up may help you kind of go a little higher so you don't feel so much of a deep stretch here. Let me explain this a little bit better. It's super hard to show you on a film, but if you have 2 blocks, you can just kind of invent this little like teepee. So one side is small and the other is on top. And I invented this like little teepee. And then I can put my bolsters or my block on top of that and it will hold me. So my left heel is back and I just drop back into this. Now my bolster is round, so it's hard for me to kind of get comfortable at first. And if this does not feel good, right? If you will be feeling a deep stretch in your quad, you can just sit up. Maybe you're like, I don't want to go back. That's fine. You can just rest your hands behind your back and just lean back a little bit. It's the same pose, but now you're using your hands to hold yourself up. If you're like, my left knee can't take it, then don't do this pose. You're just gonna take your left foot and put it inside the right thigh and just you can fold forward. Or you can still do the same thing. You can still have that tent option with your bolster and you can lay back. So it's just a different stretch for you. Wherever you're at, find this pose. It's delicious. And I'll get the clock started. So if you think about non-stealing from the earth, think of this. You wouldn't go to your friend's house for dinner and complain about the food, leave trash laying around, and walk off with candlesticks from your friend's house because, you wanted them. Yet, this is how we treat our earth. We are visitors to this land, to our bodies and to our minds. So if you think of earth not just as earth as the planet that we're standing on, but think of earth as our bodies and our minds. So if you go around complaining about your body, you put trash in your body, that is stealing, because we're renting this body from above. To fully appreciate this reality is to accept that nothing on this physical plane actually belongs to us. This guideline asks us to view everything in our possession as something precious that is on loan. And from the time that it is on loan to us, we need to take care of it. So the question would be, are you physically taking care of your body in this pose? Nothing belongs to us. If you think of your body as a rented suit, right? Something that you've rented from somewhere. And what is really you is your soul inside. Would you think differently about how you treat it if it's rented and you have to give it back the same way it came? Would you think differently about how you treated it? Good. Take a deep inhale in. And exhale the air out. Another deep inhale in. And as you exhale, push your hands into the earth. Slowly come up. Take that left leg around. Let it relax. Maybe shake it out. Left, right, left, right. I love that stretch. It is definitely a good one. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the other side. So we're going to take that right heel back again. You may be, if you last time your knee could handle it, maybe it's not going to be able to handle it on this one. So ask yourself, can I do this pose on this side? Will my knee be okay? Remember that we're not trying to harm ourselves. We're not trying to steal any joy. We're trying to feel pleasure and joy in this pose. So go ahead and find the position that you like and then sink back into it. Remember, you don't have to go all the way back. Half saddle is just opening up this front of our leg. It is inherent understanding that from this moment, the moment we are born, we are in debt to this gift called life. The ancient Vedic scriptures speak of taking nothing without giving something back. Imagine what would happen if each time we took something or got something, we gave something back. Rest in this pose as you think of that. What can you give back to this earth, to this body, to our future children, our grandchildren? To this planet. I love the idea if you get a new article of clothing, give an article of clothing to someone else. Another 30 seconds. Really enjoy the stretch. It feels so good. Slowly sip in some new air and exhale the old out. An even exchange. Inhale in. Push into your hands. As you exhale, slowly come up from from your laying down position and just wrap that right leg around. Bring it in front of you. Maybe shake out the legs, left, right, left, right, left, right. And we're gonna head into caterpillar or forward fold, known in yoga. So slowly take a deep inhale in, lift the heart up, and exhale the heart down. Now here, you're gonna just let gravity take you where you need to go. Remember that we're going to a place where I am not feeling any kind of sharp pingements. I can take a bolster, I can lay my belly on the bolster and just rest here. Wherever you're at, find a comfortable position. Maybe you want to drop your head, let the head go. We also steal from the future and from our children and their children in such a massive proportion. It feels that we are caught on a speeding train with no brake and no way to get off. The excess in our bodies, in our calendars, our closets, are all signs that we are living as if there are no tomorrow, and no one to live here after we are gone. We have lost our sense of gratitude. Our focus seems to be on what we don't have or what we might not have in the future, rather than on the abundance of right before us. If we think my ancestors has sacrificed so much for me, they endured hardships beyond my comprehension with only one thought, that the upcoming with their only one thought that the upcoming generations is really what was best for their intentions. They literally gave their lives to create beauty on earth and better times for the future. Remembering our ancestors and the mystery that brought us into being in a way to reframe the sacredness of our lives and the sacredness of the lives that will continue to come after us. It is to find ourselves as current caretakers in this lineage of past and future lives. It is to find ourselves with our direction pointed to those that will come after. And I remember being in a yoga training once, and we were talking about this very thing, about our ancestors and about our future. And I loved this so much that when you think about your lineage, they have worked so hard for us. And a lot of us are carrying around them on our backs, right? So a lot of us are carrying the weight of our past on our backs. So think of that. Think about having your ancestors on a backpack, on your back, on your back, on your back, and they're stacked up, and now you're weighing yourself down. But our ancestors don't want that. They work so hard for us to have freedom and the things that we have. Our ancestors actually want us to stand on their shoulders. I think that's just a beautiful thing if you think about it. Like if we are standing on our ancestors' shoulders and they're rising us up. And think about that for our future kids. We don't want them to be weighed down by our things that we leave here on earth. So our pollution, we don't want that. We want to rise them up. We want them to be better and stronger because of what we are doing in our now. Good. Slowly take a deep inhale in and exhale the air out. Another deep inhale in. And as you exhale, push your hands into the earth. Slowly come up. Remove your bolster, blankets, or whatever you need to do. And then just windshield wiper. Left and right. And left and right. And we're going to go ahead and go into twisted roots. So it's kind of like eagle in yoga, but we're going to be on our backs. So we're going to take the left foot over top of the right. And maybe your left foot can kind of link, around this right calf muscle. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends, right? If you can't link, it's fine. You just do this. And you're going to lay on your back, and you're going to take these twisted roots, your legs, and you're going to drop them to the right. Now, your roots might be high, so that's where you might want to take a pillow or a bolster, and you take your left leg and you kind of put that on the bolster, and you rest here. And I'll start the clock. Maybe close your eyes and just really think about that ancestor stuff. I'm just going to leave you with one more thing, and then I'm going to be quiet for the rest of class. So shifting our focus. Small children, as they reach a certain age, begin to want what others have. It doesn't matter what it is or what they want. It doesn't matter what it is, they want it, right? Looking at the stage of the world, it seems many adults are still caught in the toddler stage of wanting what others have. Asteya, or non-stealing, asks us to shift our focus from others to ourselves. It asks us to get excited about the possibility of our own life. When we attend to our own growth and learning in the areas of our interest, we engage in the joy and challenges of building ourselves. From the fullness of our own talent and skill, we automatically serve the world rather than steal from it. This shifting of focus is an illustration by the following example. I'm not going to give you the example. I'm going to just be quiet now. Just sit in this idea of not stealing yourself from your own joys and pleasures because you want what others have. You have everything that you need in this moment. Good. Slowly take a deep inhale in. And exhale the air out. Another deep inhale in. And as you exhale out, slowly bring your twisted roots back. Unwind the roots. Maybe take the legs out to straight and just lay here. Or do windshield wipers, hug the knees into your chest. What do you need here in this moment? Rebound. Try not to steal the pleasure of the rebound by moving so quickly to the other side. And slowly take a deep inhale, and as you take your exhale, cross that right leg over top of the left. Again, maybe you find that hook, maybe you don't. And then just slowly twist your roots. I like to kind of walk my feet over to the left a little bit. Your angles may be differently. So you may need to stay here, it depends. And then slowly drop your twisted roots to the left. Again, you can rest your legs on a bolster, maybe you don't need that. And you feel this great stretch along the right hip, the right lower back. Maybe it's even going all the way up the right side of the body. Just rest here in your roots. As you close your eyes, really look inward. Are you in a place where you are non-stealing?